Hi everybody, it's Hannah from Dreambakes again, and I'm back with the next instalment of my reviews of the Great British Bake Off. So this was week 6 and this was all about pastry. And I'm going to leap right in with a bit of a beef, which you know I've had. Pastry is such a broad topic, and as I said in my last video, which if you've not watched then please go and do so, it's such a broad subject, and I was expecting there to be maybe something traditional in the first round, which there was pies, and then a different type of pastry in both the second and the third challenges that they had to do. But the third showstopper was pies as well, which, yeah, I know it's slightly different because it was like a hot water raised one, but it's still a pie. I was expecting there to be maybe like a basket of various French patisserie, or I don't know. I just expected there to be something a little different than pies again. Quite disappointed because of that. So, as I said, the signature was pies, and that was a short crust, so you need to be very careful with how thick or thin you roll it, because obviously too thick you'll end up with like raw pastry on the outside. Too thin, your filling can leak out, which a few had actually. I think the leaking was actually worse on the showstopper, but I'll touch more on that in a bit. So they could choose a theme, and there were some that were kind of fair enough, like Four Seasons, Pi R Squared, which was Jan's, that was cute, but Stephen's was the most random. That was Fleetwood Mac. As far as I'm aware, Fleetwood Mac don't have a connection to pies. I don't know. If I'm wrong, then do tell me in the comments. Yeah, that was fine. That was not too dramatic, I guess. They really liked Liam's pies actually. They say he's really good on his flavourings, which I think in the first couple of episodes he was a bit nervous to kind of go for big punchy flavours, but they do seem to be appreciating them now. So second was, and I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, I'm quite sure, the pastiche de nata. So that's the little Portuguese custard tarts, which I'm sure you've seen in many different cafes. And I've never made these before, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. I wasn't aware they had the swirl on the bottom, which is quite cool. And that the custard has to be very, very thin, which a lot of, like, that was a common problem with pretty much everybody's custard except for Jan's. Like, they all were far too resistant and solid in the end product. Stacey didn't do terribly well on that one. Hers were a bit shallow as far as I recall. Kate didn't do so well. Jan, I was expecting, because she put hers back under the grill to finish them off. I was expecting hers to turn out really, really tough, but she actually succeeded the most out of all of them, which was, yeah, very surprising. And I found out that they had loads of these egg yolks left in monasteries in Spain, Portugal, sorry. And yeah, because they used to use the egg whites to starch the clothes. I'd be quite interested in knowing more about that, because that just seems like their clothes would smell to me. I don't know. And that seems, I thought monasteries were meant to be leading like a fairly austere life, like to have these little custard tarts lying around. I don't know, doesn't really fit, does it? So oh yeah, again, the what they showed in the Portuguese bakery, they had these little sort of metal cupped, they're not as big as that, but if you imagine the cup part of like a jam tart tin cut out, and I've only ever known the French word for these, so I'm very sorry. I'm sure somebody will be able to tell me what they are. But yeah, they're like that, and that's what they shape the little tarts in. And the contestants were given a muffin tin, which is a lot deeper and a lot wider as well on the mouth of the tin. And I thought that was very unfair. Like, if you're going to try and make them as authentic or as close to the original as possible, then you need to give them the same equipment. I didn't think that was fair. And they have tons of these little mould things going around in France. Like, I remember when I was in the patisserie, I used to make little tart cases after tart cases after tart cases, and oh god, like, they've got loads of them lying around, and I'm sure it wouldn't have been a problem to get the hands on some. So I didn't think that was very fair. So then it was the showstopper, and yeah, as I say, that was pies. I'm not a particular pie fan, so it kind of went over my head a little bit. Stacey had a massive nightmare, bless her. Like, it all sort of concertina down. It leaked around the bottom. I don't even think the flavours of the pie itself were that good. Really love Liam's again. The Kate, was it? Yes, Kate did the Indian one, and they thought that was quite good too. And yeah, Liam's did look very good actually with the mango and the chili on the top. I've never seen a pie that's been decorated before like that. That was cool. Or rather, not just his, but just everybody's pies in general decorated like that. So the person who was leaving was Julia, bless her. She struggled through all 3 rounds, and she didn't do so well last week either. A bit of a shame. I mean, I was quite surprised. Sandy Toksvig was really choked up when she left, so they've clearly formed some quite deep friendship during the time that she's been there. And Star Baker was Liam, which he's been creeping up on the outside for the last couple of weeks, so it's been quite interesting to see him blossom. I think the people in trouble next week are Stacey, for obvious reasons, and I also think Kate, because she needs to up her game in terms of both presentation and flavour. Like the pie that she did, it tasted really good, but it was not very complex. It had just the one filling, and others, like for example Jan, she did a checkerboard design, which, you know, didn't come out that great as far as I'm concerned, but you know, they're sort of trying to do something different. And then Julia had asparagus in her pie, and yeah, a lot of them had loads of different layers, and Kate just had the one filling, so not too complex. So I think she needs to watch herself next time. Next week, I'm more excited about this than the whole pie shenanigans this week. Next week is Italian week, which I don't believe they've done before, and from the preview I can pretty much guess pretty accurately what they're going to make. So they're going to be making cannoli, they're going to be making pizza, and also my favourite, sfogliatelle. So they are awesome. I love them. Like when I was in France, I used to our patisserie had them, and I wasn't allowed to eat them because they were quite expensive, and also quite laborious to make, obviously. I just had to make do with the bread. What a shame. And yeah, I'll be very interested to see how they work, because they're very complex. They've got lots of sort of layers on top of each other. The English name for them is lobster tail, actually, because they have these sort of plates of pastry like the plates on a lobster's tail. So I am incredibly interested in that. What was your favourite pie of the week? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked it, you know the drill. Like it, subscribe, and I've got loads of social media links in the down bar, so have a look. There's loads of behind the scenes idiocy, bloopers, pictures of the cakes that we make, because obviously I can't post them here to YouTube, and events and offers that we're doing as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.